Hey guys, welcome to Tactics with Toxic. Today we're talking about wolfguard terminators. This topic was given to me over Tumblr, so yeah, feel free to send me messages over there. So wolfguard can also be taken in power armor. However, today it's specifically about Terminator wolfguard. Personally, I think the best way to run wolfguard is in power armor, as it's cheaper. But it was asked about Terminators, so here we go. So the way that I would run them would be in a squad of 5. I would give each of them a combi plasma and a wolf claw, and then I would stick them in a drop pod because space wolf terminators can't deep strike like regular terminators. They have to take a drop pod if they want to deep strike. So running them this way will set you back 250 points, which isn't too bad, but if you're looking at it in the sense of comparing them to regular Space Marine Terminators, when you can get a squad of them for about 200 points, no upgrades. So, it's kind of hard to judge because on one hand you're getting the combi plasma for all of them, and you're also getting a wolf claw, and the wolf claw is amazing because unlike a lightning claw, you can re-roll either the hit roll or the wound roll, and you're also getting counterattack, which is decent when you're running them in this tactic, but we'll talk about that later. And you're also getting acute senses, so nothing too big. Only 50 more points, and you're getting your drop pod. So yeah, it's not too bad. So the combi plasmas are basically just so you can use them as an assassin unit, and when I say an assassin unit, I kind of mean like a unit that you choose your target, and it's their job to just assassinate that target, and that's them done. At 250 points, you're really looking at wiping out either a target that you really need to get destroyed, or B, you're looking at a target that is equal to or greater in points value, and it's just like a pawn for a pawn kind of thing. Like, you sacrifice that unit to kill another unit of that. And with 5 combi plasmas, that's definitely, you could. I've wiped out 5 sanguinary guard and a Reclusiarch with that, and that is more points than 250. That was probably more like closer to 350, 400 points, so that's definitely worth it. With Combi Plasma, you're not going to be taking anything like a Land Raider down, but you can still take down other vehicles. You could come in behind some Lehman Russes and do some fair bit of damage on that. It's really about picking your target, and that's where the tactics kind of come in, is picking who you want gone. So the drop pod's going to come down turn 1. If you have 2, you could potentially get that to come down turn 2 because of how the drop pod assault rules work. It's they come down turn 1, half of them rounding up. So, but you probably want them to come down turn 1 just so you can get that unit off the board as soon as you can. So if you're not going to kill the unit, it's going to be significantly weakened with 10 plasma shots. The only units I'm thinking of that really is not going to do much would be, Thunderhammer Stormshield Terminators, because they're going to get their 3 up. But even then, you're probably doing enough wounds to them with a Strength 7 thing that they're going to fail a fair few of them. But I wouldn't recommend going after the Thunderhammer Stormshield Terminators. But on the other hand, imagine dropping down next to a Swarm Lord with some Tyrant Guard. You might not kill them with 10 plasma shots, as you need 3s and then 3s, but you're probably killing at least the guard and damaging a Swarm Lord. It's definitely going to wreck more or less whatever unit you put it up against. Well, here's a problem though. Is that, let's say you drop down, you wipe that unit, great. If it's worth more than you have paid for the Terminators, that's awesome. The problem is if you kind of whiff on your rolls, or something happens and you deep strike and scatter away and you don't get all your plasma shots, you're now basically in the middle of an enemy army where most of their units are going to be able to potentially hurt you on their turn. There's not much you can really do to help that. You might be able to position them behind the drop pod and get some cover saves, but you're going to be getting your invulnerable save for your Terminator armor anyway. It's just a really difficult situation if you don't get that initial like Alpha Strike assassination run in. On the bright side, they are 5 Terminators, and depending on what's shooting at them, your opponent could be spending at least 3 different units trying to wipe out that unit, and that's 3 units that aren't shooting at the rest of your army that's running up. On the bright side, if you happen to roll night fighting, that's and you've like positioned the drop pod and the Terminators, and it's night fighting, you could be getting a 4 or 3 up cover through that drop pod, depending on how far away the enemy is from your drop pod. So it's not the end of the world, but it just it's kind of tough. They are a really tough unit to play. For the points cost, kind of what hurts them. I think if you wanted to run all Thunderhammer, Storm Shield, Wolfguard Terminators, you're looking at 315 points compared to 200 points from a regular Space Marine. The good thing is with these ones is that if you're running them this way and you drop down your drop pod, you wipe out a unit, then you get assaulted. You've got counterattack, so you pass the leadership check. You're now getting your charging attacks. That's pretty good to kind of help you survive. Another method, you could run them in a Land Raider. I've had more success in just running them this way, because you get that instant gratification of wiping unit out rather than trying to get them up the field in a Land Raider. That Land Raider is now a huge target, and now instead of X amount of points for your Terminators, you're now adding 250 points for a Land Raider. So they're really a difficult unit. I believe that the person that sent me the question, they were running a whole army of Wolfguard Terminators. I've done this in the past, and I would not recommend it. The points that you're putting in your Terminators is just, you can't get a decent size army. You're always going to be outmatched, outgunned, outnumbered. You have to throw down 275 points for Logan Grimner, who is a very average HQ for 275 points. He unlocks Wolfguard to be a troop. So you don't need to take Terminator armor. Again, that's what was asked, and that's what most people do if they're going to run the whole troop route, is just have a whole lot of Space Wolf Terminators. Yeah, not the best way to go. I ran it a few times, and I probably won about 75% of my games, which is pretty bad for me. I lost 75% of my games. That's pretty bad for me, considering I usually win about 75% of my games or more. So I didn't really play them for very long, but it's a fun army to paint up. It's a fun army to look at. So it's really a fun casual army. If you really want to take something serious, I would not recommend it. If you really want to go the Wolfguard route, take them in power armor. They're going to be cheaper. You don't even what I would recommend, even if you're running them the way that I'm telling you to and taking them as like an assassination unit, don't even give them Terminator armor. Just drop them down in power armor. You're going to be saving points. They're going to kind of act like a Stone Guard unit, and they're probably going to be about the same points, probably a little bit more. But that's my recommendations on how to run them, and I hope that kind of is a little tactic that you could try out. So I hope that helps. If you're interested, please feel free to send me more units or situations in the game that you want to talk about. Maybe how do I tackle this mission? Where do I place my objectives when it's an objective mission? Just units in your army. I'll be more than happy to talk about it. Doesn't take me too long to make one of these things. So, yeah. So this has been Tactics with Toxic. I'm Toxic. Thanks for watching.